2023. Happy 4th of July. Praise God for those founding fathers that stood up against King George and the idiocy going on. We need a bunch more of them. Brother Meister, we need another revolution, don't we? Yeah. Anyway, thank you for what you did, guys. Okay, tonight, talking a little bit more about the age of the earth, part 6. I don't know if we can get through all 3 of these. Stalactite growth, erosion rate, how much salt is in the ocean. They all prove the earth is not billions of years old. I'm sorry, it's not. I know you guys need millions of years for your theory, billions of years. You can't have it. We're going to pull out the pacifier of time for the next couple broadcasts. I know you atheists got to have time. And if that doesn't work, more time. No, do them both same time. Oh, yeah. You need them. You need lots of time to turn your frog to a prince, to turn your amoeba to a prince. Actually, you got to turn a proton into the whole universe. Whew, that would take a long time. Yeah. How can you believe something so dumb? I got my stupid meter up there. That's perfect. Okay, let's see. We believe get the glory for his creation. We're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, Genesis Baptist Church, on Odyssey. Get them all on drdino.com. Okay, July the 4th, 4th of July. Here we are, the age of the earth. We believe the Bible is literally true and scientifically accurate. And God made everything in 6 days. My job as a Christian, and your job if you're a Christian, is to be ready to give an answer. Most Christians are not ready to give an answer to the simple question, where do dinosaurs fit into the Bible? It's not complicated. Watch my video series. It's easy, okay? So I want to strengthen your faith in God's word. If you're not saved, I'm going to try to get you converted. And if you're saved and not doing much for the Lord, I'm going to try to make you uncomfortable. It's real simple. Okay. If you want to help us stay open for free, we don't charge anything. Our ministry, we've got 25 cabins people stay in, feed 700 meals a week. We could always use the support, okay? Help us stay open. Join our 777 club. Say, I want to give them $1 a day, $30 a month, $31 a month, okay? Go to drdino.com. Still no service on YouTube, but they can do the PayPal. PayPal's on YouTube, back up, okay. Make any checks to CSE, Creation Science Evangelism. Get our video series, 18 hours, $50. By the way, if you want to open an online bookstore, we will sell you our material at wholesale, and you can resell it for the same price we do. We don't mind the competition at all. We're trying to win the world, not build a castle. So if you want to say, I got an online bookstore, can I order 10 of those sets? And my wife will, or the secretary will say, yeah, how much are they? And then you resell them for whatever you want, okay? But please do something if you already have a Christian bookstore, or encourage your local Christian bookstore. Say, why aren't you carrying the Dr. Dino series and all his stuff? Oh, I didn't know there was one. There is. We put out 15 million videos in 42 languages. We want to help get the world converted. Also, you can help by sharing these broadcasts to all your friends. Click share, send it to everybody you know. Tell them subscribe to the channel. It's growing rapidly. What is it, 18.5 now? Yeah, okay. Let's see. I travel, well, I used to travel and speak on creation. I don't get to do that much anymore. I'll go somewhere close. Like I got to 100 feet from my house to here. I'd maybe go 200. No, we want to be a blessing. We can do it by Skype, okay, to your church. Dinosaur Adventureland, the perfect place to bring your Awana club, your Boy Scout group, your girl group, anything. Bring them all. Dinosaur Adventureland. 16 lakes and ponds to swim in. Great place. Fishing, unbelievable. One guy caught a fish out of here. Billy, hold your hand up over there. That fish was that far from the boat. Just the picture weighed 12 pounds. It took 4 guys to carry the picture. Tell them how big a fish that is, brother. That's a big one, but it takes 4 guys to carry the picture. Okay, we talk about the age of the earth. We've covered quite a few things on this topic. Slide number 1231. Tonight we're going to cover stalactites and stalagmites. When water evaporates, it leaves a little mineral trace behind if it's got minerals in the water, and most water has minerals in it. The hard rock deposit is called flowstone. If it hangs tight to the ceiling, it's called a stalactite. Good way to remember it. If it's on the ground, it's called a stalagmite, coming up from the ground. If they meet together, they call it a column. And there's all kinds of names for all these different features that are found in the caves, okay? That's how many names are there. Soda straws, stalagmites, cone stalagmite. Oh, gee whiz, drapery. You study that on your own. We're not here to talk about that tonight. But they tell the kids it took millions of years to make these. Now that I would have to object to, okay? Formation. Flowing films of water that move along floors or down positive sloping walls build up layers of calcium carbonate, argonite, gypsum, and other cave minerals. They use gypsum, it's a common mineral in the ground, grind it up to powder, mix it with water, spread it like peanut butter on a piece of paper, put another piece of paper on top, smash it flat, let it dry, gypsum board or sheetrock. That's what your wall of your house is probably made out of. Who cares? Okay. Minerals are dissolved in water and are deposited when the water loses its dissolved carbon dioxide through the mechanism of agitation. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So if water gets agitated, this helps in the process. I bet during Noah's flood, there was quite a bit of agitation of the water. What do you think? Busy day and warm today. Okay. Flowstone forms in thin layers of deposits build on each other, sometimes developing more rounded shapes as the deposit gets thicker. Okay. The two common forms of flowstone, tufa and travertine. You can study all that on your own. Okay. Stalactites hang from the ceiling. Stalagmites are building up from the floor, usually much slower and much fatter. Okay. Here's a beautiful, where's this one at? Sargent's Tent in Luray Caverns, Virginia. One of the most well-formed flowstone draperies in the world. Beautiful cave formation, okay? New Mexico's unfinished symphony was started 250 million years ago. Really? Tiny drops of water over millions of years silently created the world's most awesome monument to the wonders of nature, Crystal Springs Dome. Does it really take millions of years to make these formations? Let's see. How fast do stalactites grow? Well, 0.00028 to 0.037 inches per year. That's almost nothing to not much. So they don't grow very fast, according to this guy. Let's see. Where's this from? Oh, encyclopedia.com. Got to be true. Okay, let's see. How long does it take a stalactite to grow an inch? Well, limestone stalactites form extremely slowly, less than 10 centimeters, about 4 inches, every 1,000 years. So 250 years to grow an inch. You really believe that's true? Let's see, Wikipedia, that's got to be true. Anybody can write on Wikipedia, right? So, limestone stalactites averages 0.0051 inches per year. 1/10 of a millimeter, not much. The quickest growing stalactites are those formed by a constant supply of slow dripping water. Want to hold it. If the water's dripping and it has to evaporate, leave the minerals behind, what could speed up that process? More minerals in the water, so it leaves more behind. A breeze blowing through the cave, wouldn't that speed up the process, dry it off faster? Yeah. I think be cautious about setting a standard and saying it always grows, 13/100ths of a millimeter per year. Okay. According to self-professed infidel and in for hell, Dave Matson, he gave the observed growth rate as ranging from 0.1 to 10 centimeters per 1,000 years. That is what most of the books teach. I'll debate you anytime, Dave, anytime. Bring it on, okay? How long does it take stalactites to form? Limestone stalactites form extremely slowly, 10 centimeters every 1,000 years. So they're all repeating the same mantra, 250 years to grow an inch. Okay. Under the Lincoln Memorial, built 1922, here's a picture taken of stalactites that are 50 inches long. Wait. 250 years to grow an inch, 50 inches. Abe Lincoln died 2,500 years ago? I didn't know that. Did you know that? Must have been a different Abe Lincoln. They got the wrong guy buried in there. Man, how do they do that stuff? Let's see. Creatioon.com has some excellent articles on rapid stalactite growth. Those beautiful stone icicles hanging from the ceiling are called stalactites. They stay tight to the ceiling. You can read all about it. I'd highly recommend you read these articles on creatioon.com. Apologetics Press has a good article about rapid formation. This is under a parking garage. Let's see, 250 years to grow an inch. Some of them are 4 inches long. They built that parking garage 1,000 years ago before there were cars. Maybe they parked their donkey. Could be, I don't know. Okay. Answers in Genesis has some great articles on rapid cave formation by sulfuric acid dissolution. Okay. Institute for Creation Research has some great articles. The Origin of Limestone Caves. Read up on it. Don't be fooled to thinking the atheists have something here with cave formation. Here's a bat covered in flowstone. 1953, National Pornographic showed a bat apparently died, fell on top, and was covered before it could rot. I thought it took a long time for this to happen. Let's see. The bat falling on a stalagmite becomes cemented to the stone as the stone grew. The feet are buried, the head hangs down, the wing bones. Hey, Will made it back. Just a long drive to New Mexico and back, brother. Amen. Almost done. Have a seat over there. I'm going to see that truck in a minute. How fast do stalactites grow? Paul Taylor did a great article on creation moments. Okay? How fast do they grow? He said, for generations, cave guides have been telling cave visitors that the stalagmites and stalactites they see around them grow at incredibly slow rates. The figure is usually given as 1 inch per century for stalactites. They're the ones that hang down. That estimate, however, is not based on any scientific research. Even in the 70s, the growth of these formations was not fully understood. Now, a group of scientists who believe in young Earth creation have studied the chemistry of stalactite and stalagmite formation in actual cave conditions. They discovered there are many variables in the growth of these formations. How much carbon dioxide dissolves in the water depends on the temperature and pressure. The amount of CO2 in the water can vary by a factor of 5. The dissolved carbon dioxide turns the water acidic, causing it, right here, variables, causing it to dissolve calcium carbonate. The same water under pressure. Once the water seeps out of the cave ceiling, the pressure is relieved, the water evaporates, and the calcium carbonate begins to deposit to form the stalactite. Actual growth rates in actual caves have been observed as high as 1 inch every 7.5 days. Now hold it. They tell the kids it takes 250 years to grow an inch, but they've watched them grow an inch in 7.5 days. See, guys, let me explain it to you atheists. I know you're not going to get this, but I'm going to try, okay? The word science means knowledge. What do we know? What can we observe, study, test, demonstrate? If we can observe and study and test and demonstrate a stalactite forming an inch in 7.5 days, then that would be science. For you to keep repeating it takes 250 years to make an inch is not science. Called balagna in Italian, baloney. Okay. Let's say the violence and high pressures developed during the Genesis flood would have provided the ideal condition for producing a great deal of underground water super saturated with calcium carbonate to make the stalactites. Let's see. Here I took some notes in my PowerPoint. Timothy Holmes in Minnesota, that was his number when I did this years ago, lived in Grassy Hill, Missouri, near Marble Hill. He saw a crystallized bat in a cave behind their property owned by a hunting club. Lorraine and Tom Conder, there's their address, in a double wide at the end of the gravel road, knows them. Take 34 west about 10 miles, turn left on County Road H, go 3 miles, turn left on the gravel road 107. The end is the double wide trailer. A crystallized bat. Behind it is a creek. Walk a mile downstream, there is a 30-foot deep cave. Crystallized bat and baby are hanging from the ceiling. There's a bunch of phone numbers. Try it out. I meant to try it today. I've been busy today, okay? But let's see, the church in Marble Hill, that's where I preached, met with Bushes, who now own the house a few doors down in December of 2004. Mrs. Barks owns the property. Here's all the phone numbers. Go see the crystallized bat. Take a picture if you live near there and send it to me. I can put a picture in here. Let's see, the refrigeration shed was built in Pensacola in 1926 at Fort Pickens. It has 2-inch long stalactites hanging from the roof. 250 years to grow an inch? I don't think so, guys. Let's see. George Rogers Clark Memorial was built of limestone. Water percolates down through the cracks in the memorial. The result is the same kind as formations of those found in caves. So here's a guy standing by one that was made in 40 years in Indiana. I don't think it takes millions of years. This picture taken in 1987 of level 5 in the lead mine in Australia when the mine was 55 years old. There's 2 people inside that circle. All that formed in 55 years? Guys, I don't think it takes 250 years to grow an inch. There's a gold mining cave in Cripple Creek, Colorado, less than 40 years old. Features ceilings, walls, and floors covered with quick-growing flowstone. Here's a stalactite, been growing for 7 years under building 907447. You're not going to be down at Herbert Field, are you, brother? In the military? They ever put you down at Herbert Field? Okay. See, go in that building, see if that photo was taken in 1993. It grew pretty long in 7 years. On the floor under that stalactite was this stalagmite on the ground. Let's see. This stalagmite was growing under building 90747 at Oasis Cafe, Herbert Field. The building was opened in 1993. This thing was removed in 2000, says it was a hazard to trip on. I said, can I have it? Sure. Come on down and see it in our science center. It does not take millions of years for these formations to grow. Let's see. This would be 7 years. 7 years. I hate it when kids get lied to. Here is a, dear Brother Hovind, these stalactites are growing in a garage in a private student condominium near UT campus in Austin, Texas. The name of the condominium complex is Centennial Condos at the corner of 28th and Rio Grande. The structure was completed in '97. They had to put up tin attached to the beams of the garage so the stalagmites would not grow on the kids' cars. Go check it out. Here's a water bucket got left too long. Endless Caverns, Newmarket, Virginia. Boy, that's proof they had water buckets millions of years ago. You ever seen your sink when the water drips and it leaves behind that deposit? Yeah. 40,000 years to grow an inch, 250. This proves people had plumbing 400,000 years ago. That's dripping off of somebody's plumbing under a house. Cast iron pipe. You've done a lot of plumbing, you guys. That looked like the plumbing they had 40 million years ago. This is Fort Eno in Finland. It was not built between 1909. They lied. Had to be millions of years ago when that fort was built in England. How did Carlsbad Caverns form? You guys were right there 2 days ago, Will, in Carlsbad. Between 4 and 6 million years ago, hydrogen sulfide-rich water began migrating through fractures and faults in the Capitan limestone. The water mixed with rainwater, and the acid dissolved the limestone to form the rock and form Carlsbad Cavern. Really? Oh, yeah. There's a Center for Scientific Creationism has a great article about that. Carlsbad Caverns. What geologists used to believe was fact in terms of dating a cave now is speculation. From 1924 to 88, there was a visitor sign above the entrance to Carlsbad that said Carlsbad was at least 260 million years old. That was the sign that was up there for 60 years. How many visitors got to see that? Let's see. 1988, the sign was changed to read 7 to 10 million. Wait. It went from 260 million to 7 to 10 million in 1 year. They should make a video game about that. Okay. Then for a little while, the sign read it was 2 million years old. Now the sign's gone. Trout says the days. Geology of Wyoming. Thermopolis Hot Springs, the smoking water. This is a flowstone formation from the water, the hot water, travertine at Hot Springs State Park. In 1903, some books say 1906, they stuck a pipe and pumped hot mineral water through the vertical pipe into a rock pyramid. Let's see, there's the rock pyramid. There's it says teepee fountain, they call it. Back in 1906, the city started running pipes under the park to redistribute the hot mineral water. In order to prevent the pipes from blowing up from all the pressure by the hot water, they built a vent to allow the hot water to escape. It was originally a pipe surrounded by bricks in the form of a teepee. There it is when they started, 1906. There it is, 200 years to grow an inch? I don't think so. Let's see. Hot Springs Park. This was a few decades later, 1930s, I believe this picture was taken. There's me standing next to it in 1998. It started in 1906. So in 92 years, it don't take 250 years to grow an inch, does it? Here it is today, or the most recent picture I can find of it. I don't think it takes millions of years for these formations to form. By the way, you got those little stains on your sink, you get lime away. How much lime away would it take to rub that thing out? Yeah, a whole bunch, right? They started another one a few years later down the street. Go to Thermopolis. Folks, they're lying to you, or they're stupid, about cave formation stuff. 100-year-old flowstone formation, Thermopolis, Wyoming. Liberty Magazine did an article about it. This is all travertine flowing over the cliff. It's all like stalactite stuff. There we are in, where's this at? Nevada. Right by Reno, Nevada, there's the Fly Ranch. In 1964, the owner drilled a well I don't know if he's looking for oil or water, but he hit hot water and it started shooting out of his well. And it kept shooting and shooting and leaving behind mineral deposits, and here it is today. The Fly Ranch geyser, they call it. Let's see, when did that start? Let me go back up here. 1964. Is that millions of years ago? I don't believe so. Just Google Fly Ranch geyser. Get all the pictures you want. Known as the Fly Ranch geyser, a small geothermal geyser located on private land. Let's see. It's near the edge of Fly Reservoir in someplace geothermal flats. It's approximately 5 feet high and 12 feet wide, counting the mound on which it sits. Beautiful place to go see. Nothing else to see in Nevada, so drive across and see it, okay? The current geyser has multiple openings sitting on a mound that was built up over 40 years. The cones are about 6 feet. The entire mound is 25 to 30 feet. It's unusual due to its man-made origin. The owner had drilled a well at the site. Geothermal water spontaneously surfaced, and the geyser's been flowing steadily ever since. Let's see. So it grew 5 feet in 60 years. That's about an inch a year. Looks more like 10 feet tall to me. They hit underground hot water, okay? It happens in quite a few places around the world. It's not uncommon. I think it was Dave Mattson did this. The creationists were putting out stuff on cave formation. One of the atheists, one of the infidels and infrahels said, let's see, fast-growing I can't read it over there. Yeah, the fast-growing stalactites form via processes different from calcium carbonate stalactites found in limestone caves. Let's see, the time for stalactite growth also has to allow for time for the cave to dissolve in the first place, which is a very slow process, sometimes in the order of tens of millions of years. So first Dave says, I think it's Dave, says you have to have tens of millions of years to make the cave, and then the stuff can start forming in it. Dave, right after Noah's flood, when all the ground mud was soft, I think caves would form real quickly. Yeah, you're stuck with your 2 Peter 3 problem. The scoffers say the way things are happening now is the way they've always been happening. Okay, put your name in there. The geologic conditions have to change so the cave is no longer underwater. So the cave has to form for millions of years, then it's got to be lifted up out of the water, and then the stalactite can grow. Creationist response. This is true only if carbonic acid did the job. There's evidence that both processes originally involved sulfuric acid, not carbonic acid. Sulfuric acid would greatly speed up both cave and stalactite formation because it readily dissolves limestone. This is supported by non-creationist sources, so it seems that talk origins is out of date. Let's see. Stalactites in Cedarville, Ohio, grew in a mere 35 years. A mine in Pennsylvania reports a growth rate 40 times that found in Cedarville. A massive stalactite called Crystal Spring Dome has been shown to grow 2.5 cubic inches per year. Cubic inches. Let's see. Stalactites at Ottawa River, Quebec, show a growth rate of 4.61 cubic centimeters per year. Is leaf mulch acidic? Fresh leaves have varying acidity levels. You know, after almost any flood, you're going to find huge piles of debris, aren't you? Can you imagine Noah's flood worldwide? I think there'd be huge piles of rotting vegetation everywhere, which produces acid to make the caves and the formations. Carbon dioxide, most common cause of acidic water, and it comes from decomposition. Rotting logs and leaves make acidic water. Let's see. Can decaying vegetation cause acid rain? The precursors of chemical forerunners of acid rain result from natural sources like volcanoes and decaying vegetation. Wow. Let's see. The less known fact that algae blooms contribute to acidification. When algae die, their decomposing tissue releases carbon dioxide directly into the water, makes it acidic. Carbon dioxide molecules in the atmosphere react with water to form carbonic acid. After any flood, there are always, nearly always, huge log piles, stuff piled up. Brother, you were in Louisiana. Did you ever have any hurricanes come when you were there? Leave behind a bunch of junk? And it turns the water acidic. Now focus, you atheists, focus, listen. I know we're pulling out one of your favorite pacifiers. I understand. We'll give you some real milk instead, okay? Noah's flood would have made piles of wood worldwide that would rot and decay and make acidic water. And if they're buried under water themselves, under mud themselves, they make coal. That's why the coal seams are 300 feet thick in Wyoming. It was a big flood, okay? Bible says in the last days there would be scoffers walking after their own lust and saying, where's the promise of his coming? Watch this now. All things continue as they were. In other words, the way it's happening now is the way it's always been happening. Cave formations grow very slowly. Therefore, do the math, it's millions of years old. You're stuck on stupid, okay? They're willingly ignorant that by the word of God, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. We covered that last week on this program. Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. This world was destroyed by a flood. But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. The scoffers are ignorant of the creation, they're ignorant of the flood, and they're ignorant of the coming judgment of God. Let's see. Decomposition. Highly acidic fresh leaf mulch may cause the topsoil to increase acidity. Wow. How was Carlsbad Cavern formed? Between 4 and 6 million years ago, hydrogen sulfide-rich sea water began to migrate fractures. 3.9 to 4 million years, the caverns carved out of ancient limestone by the slow drip of water enriched with sulfuric acid. Geologist Victor Polyak said, whoa, hey, if a geologist said it, it's got to be true. Don't question it. You got a word in front of his name, like, Professor Day. Well, he's got to be true then. Okay. Let's see. Here's a bunch of people being taught a bunch of baloney. On the tour guides, they say, oh, this took millions of years. They're sure to, go to any cave. They throw that in all the time. Millions of years. The large underground chamber contains hundreds of thousands of years to form. Article in National Pornographic. Let's see. Acidic water percolates down into the earth through cracks and fractures and creates a network of passages like an underground plumbing system. Let's see. Most of the solutional caves require more than 100,000 years to widen large enough to hold a human. Really? Learn how caves form. Let's see. Could it be that 50 to 90% of that cave formed in the first few months after Noah's flood before it turned to hard rock? If it was mud, 2,000 feet thick mud layers from Noah's flood, there'd be a lot more acid in the water from all the dead trees. I think a whole bunch of Carlsbad Cavern probably formed in the first couple of months, not millions of years. So I got a theory about this. The Bible says the earth is about 6,000 years old. 4,400 years ago, there was a flood with lots of trees and leaves died and made the water acidic. So all the cave formations can be explained in 4,400 years. We got some huge formations here. Yeah, drip stone from the ceiling. We got all kinds of stuff to come see. Oh, scratch up my desk, too bad here. But we have a giant, you can get that, focus this one in, this giant stalagmite on the ground. I don't think it takes millions of years, guys. I think it takes acid water and a little breeze blowing would really help. Okay, one more thought. Yeah. Should I do one more? This is a shorter one. I want to get all this, spider off me here. Okay, one more. How to prove the earth is not millions of years old, and we'll quit. At the current rate of erosion, the continents would erode flat in 14 million years. How can we have rocks that are 300 times older than that still above sea level? Atheists will say, Hovind, don't you know about isostatic rebound? Yes, guys, but listen, if the top is eroding off and it's rebounding up, how do you still have a geologic column? Wouldn't it have washed all that away? Aha! Stop and think, constipate on it for a while, okay? Look at it. Erosion features all over the earth show there was much greater erosion in the past, probably from Noah's flood. Creationist continents should have eroded long ago. The great article on ICR, Institute for Creation Research. They said, a new study indicates the Earth's overall erosion rate, although slow, would have leveled the continent 70 times over if they're as old as evolutionary claim maintains. Geologists have been measuring quantities of beryllium. An isotope of beryllium becomes radioactive with exposure to the sun. The more beryllium that's present in a given site, the longer it's been exposed to the sun. Okay, fair enough. The system was used by dozens of geologists to estimate erosion rates around the world. The study, which was published by the Geologic Society of America, showed the collated beryllium data from every continent. Researchers painstakingly converted all the reports to directly comparable units and found the erosion rates 18 times faster in drainage basins than it does in outcrops. A new study indicates the Earth's overall erosion rate would level the continents 70 times over. That's it. I did that already. Okay. According to the study, the average erosion rate for outcrops was 40 feet every 1 million years. The average thickness of continental crust above sea level is estimated to be about 2,000 feet. To erode 2,000 feet of crust at 40 feet a year, 40 feet for 1 million years, would require only 50 million years. So if the Earth is billions of years old, why is the surface not completely flat? In order to maintain their belief in long ages, some might suggest the landforms were repeatedly uplifted by tectonic forces, providing more landmass for weather and erode. However, Loma Linda University geologist Ariel Roth noted this scenario would have obliterated the very rock layers that supposedly represent evolution's millions of years. He wrote, "It has been suggested that mountains still exist because they are constantly being renewed by uplift from below. However, this process of uplift could not go through even one complete cycle of erosion and uplifting without eradicating the layers of the geologic column found in them. Present erosion rates would tend to rapidly eradicate evidence of older sediments. Yet these sediments are still very well represented, both in mountains and elsewhere." Guys, come on now. The erosion rates they measure now are in hard rock. They go out there and measure how fast does this rock erode. Guys, right after the flood, it was all soft mud, and erosion would be much faster. Right after the flood, the mud layers would dry from the top down, and once the eroding rivers cut through that crust and reach the soft layers, then erosion would be fast again, wouldn't it? They don't get it. Erosion features all over the Earth, so there was much greater erosion in the past, probably from Noah's flood. Look at the Zagros Mountains in Iran, or the huge ripple marks in the Western Sahara Desert. There was a flood, folks. I got a theory. 6,000 years ago, God made everything. He wrote a book and told us about it. 4,400 years ago, there was a flood. As the waters ran off, lots of erosion would take place in a few days. It's gone slower because the mud dried to rock and the water flow has decreased. The Bible is correct. All the evidence points to the Earth is not billions of years old. God made it in 6 days like he said he did, and he's going to judge it again soon. I would recommend you get ready for that. If you're not sure you're going to heaven, not sure you're saved, please give your heart to the Lord. Let him come in. Now, when he comes in, you might want to rearrange the furniture and change a few things, okay? That's fine. Let him in. I prayed a simple prayer 54 years ago. I said, "Lord, I am a sinner." All the angels in heaven said, "You can say that again." I said, "Lord, I deserve to go to hell, but I believe you died for me. I believe you rose from the dead. Would you please come live in my heart and save me right now?" I'm telling you, it was like a seed got planted. Over the next couple of months, I said, "Man, what's going on? I don't want to do things anymore. I want to try to do right. I wanted to go to church. I wanted to read my Bible." Something was growing in there. You know, if a new baby isn't hollering for milk once in a while, you got to wonder, something's wrong, isn't it? What happens when they don't get enough to eat? They let you know right away, don't they? Yeah, alarm system every 20 minutes. Yeah. If you're not if there's no hunger in you to read God's word, no hunger to grow, you're not saved, I would say. I'm not God, I'm not the judge, but I would really be looking, I'd be careful about trusting some experience you had when nothing changed. Ask him in again, doesn't hurt. If you came to my house, knocked on the door, and I said, "Come on in, sit down, let's have some supper." So you come in, you're sitting down eating supper. A few minutes later, I look over and I say, "Hey, come on in." "Well, I'm in. I came in a half hour ago." "Oh, okay." And every few minutes I said, "Hey, come on in." You might think I'm stupid, but I'd rather be sure you're in there by asking you 20 times. I say, if you're not sure the Lord's in your heart, ask him again. If you need to do it again and again and again. And then feed that new baby. 1 Peter chapter 2 says, "As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word." The word of God is the milk that'll help you grow. It's not complicated. Read the word. Say, "Lord, teach me from this book." And then pretty soon you can have the bread and then the meat. Yep. Okay, any questions or comments? Throw them up there, brother. Donnie. Standing for truth. Great points. Good. Thank you, brother. Live chat looks good. Very clear looking. Yeah, finally we got sort of an internet out here. Smoke signal. Dennis, what are Ken's thoughts on Dover versus Kiltzmiller? I'd have to have a more specific question than that. What exactly part of that decision are you wondering about? And so give me a more specific question and I'll tell you. Okay? That's it? That's it. Okay. Tomorrow night, Whack an Atheist. I'm going to try, maybe, to get to Whack an Atheist. I got so many of these evidences of a young earth I want to share. There's probably 60 of them. We've only covered, what, about 6? I want to really hammer each one, okay? Each one. If you got any questions or comments, send them. If any of you want to debate me on it, call me. 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. I don't have my phone here, but I'll have it one of these days. All right. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.